Hello everyone, Dr. Jeff Hijazi here, checking in with a video about shoulder pain. We're going to do a series of videos moving forward in the next month or two about different specific diagnoses and types of shoulder pain. But today's video is going to be just a general overview of how we approach shoulder pain in our clinic from a history and evaluation standpoint, and start the process of trying to understand where your shoulder pain is really coming from. So any good exam starts with a good, thorough history. First thing we always want to do is rule out any kind of red flags or sinister signs in the history that could indicate something other than muscles, bones, and joints causing the problem. Everybody classically knows that left shoulder pain could be your body letting you know that you're actually having a heart attack. We are listening very clearly in our history for any kind of red flags that would indicate potential cardiovascular problems versus rotator cuff or impingement syndrome or something actually truly going on in the shoulder. One classic thing just to touch on, an organ-referred pain, for instance, like a heart attack or a kidney stone, will have unrelenting pain with no matter what position or activity you're doing. But when you have a mechanical problem, you will absolutely have pain upon movement during or even after. Another thing that we're always trying to make sure we're listening for in a history is, are there any signs in the history that might point towards the neck as causing the problem? Statistics show that 47% of pains in the upper extremity, shoulder, arm, elbow, hand, wrist, etc., are coming from the neck. So we always want to make sure when people present with shoulder pain in our office that we're ruling out the neck as being a source of the problem. So once we've ruled out red flags in the history, and once we've ruled out the neck as being a primary source of the shoulder pain, we start getting into the physical exam. We're going to have Gabriel here, my son here, to help demonstrate this shoulder exam today. One thing to touch on before we start demonstrating some of these tests is we utilize orthopedic test clusters. Early on in practice and when I was in school, we learned hundreds, if not thousands, of different orthopedic tests. And we know now if we take a group of those tests that all test for the same diagnosis, and we test and we see multiple positive findings in those type of tests, this gives us a higher chance and likelihood of that type of diagnosis. So by using orthopedic test clusters, especially in the shoulder, we can help rule in and rule out particular types of shoulder diagnoses. For instance, we have a cluster for impingement syndrome, we have a cluster for labral tears, we have a cluster for rotator cuff tears, bicep problems, and a couple others. But just to touch on a couple of those, just so you guys have an idea of how we approach our physical exams. So first things first, we're always going to do a neck exam, once again, to make sure that the neck is not causing any kind of the symptoms in the shoulder. So take your chin to your chest, look up, back to neutral, tilt side to side, turn as far as you can in each direction. Okay, did that cause any kind of shoulder pain at all? Good. Then we're going to come through here and go ahead and have a seat over here, Gabe, on this table. Have a seat kind of facing this way and kind of from behind, maybe come over this way. So what we can do is we can start going in and doing some tests or just rule out the neck, make sure none of these tests elicit shoulder pain. If it is, this is a clear indication it's probably coming from your neck. But once we've ruled out that the neck is causing any problems, did that cause any shoulder problems? Good. So now as we start getting into the shoulder tests, start lifting your arms up as high as you can, Gabe. Lift your arms up to your sides as high as you can. Good. Any kind of pain with that? Good. Go back down. Go arms in front of you. So arms up as high as you can, as far as you can go. Good. Any kind of pain with that? Good. All right. Now, I want you to put your arms up at your sides. Don't let me push. Does that cause any issues? No? Good. So now we can start getting into some of our clusters. Let's grab hands like we're going to arm wrestle. So we're going to start doing a couple of tests for bicep problems. So resist me, sir. Good. Put your hand on this shoulder over here and don't let me pull. Resist. Let's see, put your hand on the, actually bring your hand back here. And now I want you to slow motion mimic like you're doing a big punch. So we've just done a couple of tests that test the bicep tendon. If this elicits the shoulder problem and we have multiple bicep tests that are really reproducing this problem, this is a good sign that there's a good chance he's having issues coming from the bicep tendon. If we do, put your thumb out in front of you here, out in front more this way, resist me. If this provokes pain and then this one relieves it, this is some of the tests in the rotator cuff tear. Resist me as you start to go up. Resist, go, 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 go. And then now as we go down, resist me. These are all good rotator cuff tests that can start to help rule in, is it coming from the supraspinatus? Is it coming from the bicep tendon? Is it coming from the infraspinatus? Is it coming from the subscapularis? These are all test clusters that can try to help us hone in on where the pain-generating source of the shoulder pain is coming from. A lot of shoulder problems can originate from impingement, where they get a lot of pinpoint pain in the shoulder here, and it's from the shoulder rounding, but ultimately it's from the scapula muscles not working back here in the back to keep the shoulder pulled back. So we might have to do therapies to calm down the inflamed area in the front, but most importantly, we need to start instructing our patients to start doing strengthening exercises for their shoulder blade. So it just really depends on the type of diagnosis you have, and it all stems from a good history and physical exam, trying to rule out where your problem is coming from. Once we can figure out where the source of your pain is coming from, then we know through science what's the best ways to treat it and manage that condition, and timeframes to expect on healing. So if you're frustrated and tired of dealing with your shoulder pain, and you really want to find a professional that can really help guide you through and help identify what's causing the problem, we would love to help. Give our office a call at 405-340-0007.